trending?
Yeah, what's trending today?
This is a segment where we tell you what's going on in the internet so you can participate however you see fit. What's trending on Twitter and Facebook and Google. First off, Matt Gaetz is trending because he spoke to the House Rules Commission about the January 6th riot investigation. It was a long oration of nonsense. The chair, Representative Jamie Raskin, was not having it. And he is basically being called out on Twitter for his sort of candid, I'm not having this dad speech, which was, you know, it's always fun to see someone like just sort of smack down another person verbally. Oddly enough, Matt Gaetz tweeted a 10-minute video of himself during this conference where he was saying he was just basically talking about everything else he thinks is wrong with the country and why there should not be a January 6th investigation. So he just was spewing words like Afghanistan and illegal aliens and, you know, stuff like that. It was just like, look over there, and then we shouldn't be doing this. But he also later on the House floor claimed that someone on Twitter is threatening to kill him. He said that the Capitol Police suggested that this person be arrested, but then nothing ever happened because he's a Republican. Which makes me wonder, these people get death threats all the time. So it's like this guy is the king of like distraction, of like smoke and mirrors, you know?
Right.
And I'm not saying that he's not
a politician.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be legitimately afraid for his life, and it's not fun to get death threats, but I know for a fact that people get death threats all the time, and when you're on TV, that just happens. But he thinks that no one takes it seriously because his name is not AOC or Omar Ilmar, sorry, yes, but because he's like white guy Republican, woe is me, poor me kind of thing.
Do you want to watch any of these?
I guess we can watch a little bit of it. Yeah.
No audio.
Like my constituents
Sorry,
and my
we didn't have
family
audio for that
to
one.
know who stopped their arrest. Madam Speaker, on October 8th, 2021, a Twitter handle styled CIA Bob is at your door tweeted to @Rep Matt Gaetz, "Looky here, pal. I lived in Portland. Portland has ordered a hit on you. I accepted the contract. Have a good day." Following this tweet, this individual traveled to Washington, D.C., and the Capitol Police recommended his arrest. That's information that was just shared with me by the Investigations and Threat Assessment section of the Protective Services Bureau, and specifically George DeCesso. And George shared with me that the Capitol Police recommended the arrest of this individual and that the Department of Justice refused to do so, declined to do so.
So there you go. But the Jamie Raskin stuff, did you want to see that? Because Jamie Raskin.
Yes,
so
let's
during
watch
this,
that instead. Because
so they got into it yesterday about January 6th and the election and whether or not there was fraud. And so Jamie Raskin, lawyer to lawyer, had this back and forth. Watch this. So this was trending this morning as well. Watch.
Whether or not there's an adequate remedy. And I think also a number of those cases were kicked on remedies.
No court has said that fraud existed, and so there's no remedy because there's no violation, Mr. Gaetz.
Right, but you cannot.
There's no violation, there's no fraud.
That there was no fraud if they didn't take up the question and review the facts on jurisdiction or remedy.
You know what? That might work on Steve Bannon's podcast, but that's not going to work in the Rules Committee of the United States House of Representatives. I'm sorry, Mr. Gaetz, forgive me. I've got some serious questions to ask you. The chairman of the January 6th committee, Chairman Thompson, and John Katko, who was the emissary of Kevin McCarthy, negotiated an agreement for an independent outside commission with 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, equal subpoena power, right down the middle. And yet Donald Trump decided he didn't like it because he doesn't want anybody investigating January the 6th. So he turned against it, and then the Republican leadership flipped over and turned against it. I think you voted against that commission. Why did you vote against that commission?
For many of the reasons that I've discussed today, that the focus on January 6th,
so you don't want to know,
is unwarranted.
You don't want to know anymore.
Look, I think we have.
Okay, let me ask you about that.
We have a process in Article 3 where the courts get to determine those issues. If the United States government brings charges, people can resolve those in the courts.
You don't want to know.
That's not okay with you guys because you want to politicize it because you.
I know you too well for this. You don't want to know the answer.
All right.
This might work on Steve Bannon's podcast, but it's not going to work here.
Yeah. So people like this exchange, basically. Yeah. And, I did sort of read through some of the responses to Matt Gaetz' own edited version that he posted on Twitter. And plenty of people are saying, I'm a Republican too. I do want to get to the bottom of this. This is bothersome. Let's just let it happen. Like, stop obstructing this.
Right.
And he's just, like I said, his main reason for being non-participatory is Afghanistan and budget.
And random.
And, this
bunch
thing.
of other nonsense.
Like, I have a dentist appointment. It's not very logical.
Actually, that would be a pretty good excuse. I can't make it that day. I have a dentist appointment.
This is not jury duty.
Yeah.
Like, you can, okay. Carrot Top is trending because of a photo that comedian Kathy Griffin posted of herself naked. We can play it because it's the back of her. Do you have it?
I had everything you put in the folder. What is it?
Oh, this was a tweet. Okay. Because I didn't clip it myself. So it's just her back and she's sort of like shimmying like that, but she's naked. It's sort of nonsensical, but her hair does look crazy like Carrot Top. And people are saying that she looks like the comedian Scott Thompson Carrot Top. Okay. The TruthSocial is trending on Twitter, not the TruthSocial, just TruthSocial. This is the new social network that was announced by former President Trump. It is his response to being booted from Twitter and Facebook. No more coffee for me. So you may recall that in the blink of an eye, he lost 89 million followers and he wants them back. Invitations to the platform will go out next month and a wide release is expected next year. The platform will also have subscription level videos and what they call a non-woke entertainment programming. They don't want no woke stuff here. All non-woke stuff.
Non-woke.
Where you can say things like certain epithets. Clayton just went like this because he thought I was going to. Yes, like here she goes.
Yeah, here's when Natalie says something inappropriate.
We're gonna have to beep her.
I just love when anybody tries to lay claim to the truth. Like TruthSocial. So
right.
So every other thing is now untruthful. Like you have now it's all on you.
No, and in fact, when you post to TruthSocial, your posts instead of being called tweets, they'll be called truths. Hey, Clayton, did you see my truth?
My truth?
Today.
All I want
That's
for
dangerous.
Christmas is my two front.
Did you see my truth?
Did you see my truth today? I sent a truth earlier today. Do you see my truth?
Yes.
It's going to be so weird. I sent a truth.
Now, I thought about signing up for notifications about this just to maybe I want to hold my handle, you never know.
Right.
But then I got scared to do that because I thought that I would get on the fundraising email lists.
Oh, yeah.
And I decided not to.
Yeah. I wonder what their terms of service say on there.
Right. Because I knew that as soon as I signed up, I would start to be getting Donald J. Trump for president 2024. And I was like, no, I think I'll not do that. So if someone else wants to post as at Natalie Morris on Truths, I guess you're going to have to have it.
I don't know why he didn't call it Truther, like Twitter.
Truther.
Yeah.
Truther.
Right. That's right. Yeah, that was kind of his thing.
Yeah.
So,
or truth
strange
news instead of fake news.
One thing that bothers me, though, and I'm going to speak out here in defense of Donald Trump, is that anytime he makes an announcement and the news media picks it up, they refuse to link to his original post. So this was on his Trump media website, and it was a news announcement, right? And it had a hilarious quote saying, the Taliban's on Twitter, but your favorite president is not. And every news organization quoted him, but would not hyperlink to his original post. And they don't do that with other people. Like if Joe Biden posts something on his site, that gets hyperlinked to, or whitehouse.gov or any other Apple announcement, anything. Everybody else gets sort of this. And it's the news media specifically will not link to his original post. Maybe they just don't want to give him the traffic or the Google juice.
At that point,
in the
you don't really
newsletter,
know if you're
I
getting
always do the opposite. I always link to the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they do that, then you're not necessarily, you don't know if you're getting the whole context.
Yes. Yeah. You're absolutely right. So I do think that that's a bit biased. I don't like it. I feel like, hey, if it's enough that we're reporting on it, then you should link to the original source. So this is the second time that's happened since we've been reporting on Trump recently. Okay, Alyssa Milano is trending. She was arrested at the White House on Wednesday. She was demonstrating there, asking the Biden administration to protect voting rights. And police say that her group ignored several dispersal warnings and that they were issued citations for obstructing traffic, but she is back home safely.
What happens when you get arrested? Like you get arrested for like what, disturbing the peace or whatever, and then like you have like a permanent record.
I hope you know that this will go down on your permanent record. You know
what's that from? Is that
Violent Femmes.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, yes, I assume she now has a criminal. I don't know, traffic obstruction. Because would a traffic violation go on a criminal record?
It's probably like a class F misdemeanor.
Okay. I don't know, but she's okay with that. So,
and will she have a trial or something? I mean, they have that on her record, or is that just you accept that now that's a permanent thing?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think that they'd probably do any kind of court thing because, like, think of that. People, like, they'll take truckloads of people, give them a citation, and send them on their way. It's probably just a fine or something, I would think, because they can't, like, they don't want these people back in Washington for their court dates.
Right. Yeah, you're probably right.
Oh, by the way, we just got breaking news on the Trump Truth
social
network has now been hacked.
Already?
Yeah, within hours of it being announced, it's already been hacked.
I know who hacked it.
Who's that?
My Pillow guy.
My Pillow guy.
He has the documents.
Oh,
see, now I'm really glad I didn't.
So yeah,
sign
you can't.
up.
I don't know if you can still sign up or not. Wow. Someone just said I've already registered Mike Pence. The site hasn't even launched yet, and it's already this vulnerable. Wow. And now the account was suspended. So yeah.
Well, okay, but let's throw back a little bit to some of the other Trump businesses that were not so awesome, like steaks.
Trump steaks.
Water bottles.
Trump water. Yeah.
Wine, right? Is there
books.
any...
Yeah, Ghost written all of his books.
Is there any reason to assume that this would be done with better quality contracting? I don't know.
I don't wear a toupee.
Okay.
Anything else trending?
Finally, Meghan Markle is trending because she wrote an open letter to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi asking them to fight to keep paid parental leave in any and all upcoming social bills. This was published on Paid Leave for All, and people took it as an opportunity to discuss the Duchess of Sussex and her role in American politics and whether or not she should open her mouth or not. The statement came from the Duke and Duchess, but it was only signed by the Duchess, which I'm not even sure they're really supposed to be using those names. It's like they use it when
Didn't they give them up? Didn't they give up their titles?
I think so, but I think they use it when they think that it is good for them. I do notice they can't use the crest anymore. I'm not completely sure.
But they still get the stationery.
But it's quite a nice letter, and she talks about how she was, raised going to the $4.99 Sizzler salad bar, which is awesome, by the way. And I used to do that with my dad too.
Yeah.
And that she knows what it's like to be on hard times, and that she didn't have to make these choices when she brought her children home, and every family should be as privileged as her.
Thanks for subscribing to the channel. You can also become a channel member by going to morninginvest.com/join, where you can stick it to the mainstream media and support independent journalism. We're able to bring you the stories that you won't see on any of the major billionaire-backed networks. Thanks so much. We'll